Good morning, good morning. Metropolitan DC, Oxon Hill, Maryland, and the rest of the world. This is Chief Obidika at the Oxon Hill. Let's talk about it. You have never heard nothing, but now you are going to hear something. Welcome. Welcome. Good morning where you are. My brother Joel, co-host of Let's Talk About It.
Hello,
Simply speaking, Joel.
hello, everyone, and congratulations. I heard that you opened up a McDonald's franchise. No, I'm joking, just joking.
Oh.
McDonald's coming.
Stay with us. Stay with us. Stay with us. We are coming to you from the new Harbor Studio. Show is called Hey, Let's Talk About It. So many things are happening all over the world. My goodness, if we only had enough time to cover all the subjects, the wars in Africa, governments in Africa kicking out the French, kicking out America, Russia going to Africa, putting more weapons over there. Oh my God, there's so much going on in the world. Israel is escalating the war. Ukraine is escalating the war. Lebanon, that's correct. Lebanon is getting involved in the war. Syria, Iraq. My goodness, we got war everywhere. Let's get down to business. We have a good man, a guest, all the way from California. All the way from California. My brothers, you remember him last week? We had him on the show. Ted Hayes. Listen, folks, this brother is, the best up there. This brother is going places. But we're going to have him right now, right here. Ted Hayes, my brother, welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
There you are. Welcome,
Thank you,
my
Bob.
brother. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be back here with you.
Absolutely. You're the best, my brother. How is California?
California is very warm right now. It's very hot, put it that way, but it's California. We have the best year-round weather average than any place on the planet Earth. That's why everybody comes here. So, yeah, we're doing good. Thank God.
California knows how to party.
Yeah, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. We set the pace for the nation.
Be in the water. But
Hey,
okay.
hey, I got my scuba gear ready, man. I made
an
peace.
island by itself.
I made peace with the folks down underneath the water. Let them know I'm good. I'm all right. Let me in the house. I ain't bringing nothing nasty in the house.
To the rest of the world, this is Ted Hayes, our brother and a very good man who is going to educate. I use the word educate because he's a brilliant scholar and he is a man of clear wisdom. This is just not, an educated guy. This is a man with wisdom. And we're about to learn an awful lot from him. We're going to learn, you're going to learn. So pay attention. When Ted is speaking, pay attention. Ted, my friend, last week we were talking about the upside down flag.
Yes,
and
sir.
You rightfully corrected us, led us, and educated us that America is in danger.
Yes, sir.
Is in a state of crisis. Am I correct?
Yes, that's what I heard.
And the whole world, as you mentioned, the whole world's in a state of crisis, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I remember
America's in a state of crisis, the world's in a state of crisis. As you notice, when Donald Trump left office, the world fell apart.
Agreed. Somebody said once, if America sneezed, the whole world catch a cold.
That's right.
All right, sir. We're going to go ahead on because if people did not understand, if you can just give us a synopsis before we go into that next subject of interest to the rest of us and to the rest of the world, and it got to be interesting to you. Because if you like what we're doing, if you like what we're saying, Joel, what do they have to do?
Press the notification bell, leave a like, and comment.
We've been receiving a lot of comments. My goodness, that's pretty good. So join us. If you don't like what we're saying, just go on about your business. If you want to send something not very nice to us about what we're saying, how we're saying it, what we're doing it, send a notification to Joel.
Oh,
I don't want to hear nothing from you. I don't care who you are.
I'm sensitive.
So, my brother, come on in and talk to us briefly about the upside down flag, and then let's jump on into the 14th commandment.
Yes, sir. The upside down American flag is not a protest against the country, but rather
Did I say
SOS.
commandment?
You did.
I said amendment. I beg your pardon.
The upside down flag is not a protest, as some people see it that way. You see some of these demonstrators out there burning and so forth. The upside down flag is written in the United States Flag Code 8 section A, in which it says that the union, the stars of the flag, should never be flown down, face downward, or upside down, except in times of extreme, dire stresses of life and of property. And I've always respected the United States flag. Even when I was a hippie in the 1960s and protesting and so forth, I didn't like the fact that they burned the flag. My mom and dad respect the flag. My father fought under this flag, etc. And Martin Luther King taught me anyway, that when you're going to speak to this man with all the power, you have to wrap yourself in his flag, and it makes a hard target that way, harder target. And in 2020, when the COVID thing broke out, all that, and of course Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and all that stuff, here in Venice Beach, I went on a very popular monumental hill here, and I took a great, big, huge flag. You can see it on my website. If you go to mattersofblacklives.com, mattersofblacklives.com, you'll see we had the American flag flying upside down hugely. And I had some small U.S. flags flying right side up. Also, the flag behind you, the red, black, and green flag, the so-called black national flag, I had that flying upside down as well. And it caused quite a rift, but eventually people began to understand what it was that I was trying to say to the country. And I'm the only one that really stood out like that and did it in the country.
Okay.
So that's
Go
what it's
ahead,
about.
my brother. Don't.
Yeah. So that's all I had to say about it. I didn't want to be able to
Thank you
give
so
a point.
much. So everybody knows
Yeah.
what Ted is teaching us. Now, some people out there desecrating the United States flag. As a soldier myself, no way in the world. I'm not going to desecrate the flag that I fought under. So that's out of the question. And black people, please understand that we are not desecrating the flag. And with that said, we hope the smoke is clear. Black people, we love the flag. We're not illegal immigrants. We're involuntary immigrants. Am I right, brother?
And taxpayer.
I hear me.
And we are also, of all the American people and citizens, we are the most patriotic people in this country, and this country ever will have. We fought in every single conflict that our white brother went out there and got himself into. We did not start any of those fights out there. Not even the fights we fought against the Native people. We didn't start them fights. But as a gesture of our commitment to the ideals that the white man, so to speak, this man spoke about himself, concerning all the world and all people, and the Declaration of Independence, we somehow innately grabbed onto that. And so even as slaves with George Washington, we fought for this country. Even though the British offered us freedom if we fight for them, most of us said, no, we're gonna hedge our bets here on the American style here. And we fought every war. We fought the Civil War. Lincoln said if it wasn't for us, the Civil War would not have been won. We fought. We ran up the hill with Teddy Roosevelt, gave him cover. He turned around, hanged 19 of us when we were in Texas when he was president. We fought in World War One. They say without us, it couldn't have been done. World War Two, once again, without us, it couldn't have been done. Vietnam, Korea. My dad was in Korea, all the way up to Afghanistan, and even clandestine operations. Yet we go out there and we shed our blood for this man's wars, but yet we come back here and we get dumped on and so forth. But yet somehow we still love this country and believe that it can be changed to our benefit. And that's why I think that God put it in us to hold on, because a better day was coming for us. And as an activist, when I began to, as I look for the power to transform my people, I discovered something in the U.S. Constitution and in federal documents that power, authority was bequeathed to us 161 years ago that we never, ever fully became aware of and embraced because
Before you go there,
yeah.
Before you get to it, because this is very important to us here at Let's Talk About It, and it's very important to our audience, not just our black people, very important information that you're about ready to provide for us. I just want us to take a few second break, and so we can give you the full attention that you deserve. We'll be right back.
Are you or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing Independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, Independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like,
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
And I instantly believed it. With Independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, Independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of Independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With Independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if Independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
Welcome back. I just want to take a little break so I can get my old head here squared away. Thank you very much for the moment. My dear Ted, my dear brother Ted, welcome back. I hope California will let you come back. I know sometimes the states, I don't know about you all. But before you go into the 14th and the 14th Amendment, please tell us how far back in history and the meaning of that history to our current existence in America. And I say our, I'm talking about black people, folks. So Ted now has an idea of where he's going to take us and the impact it has on us as a people. Go ahead, my brother.
Thank you very much, sir. As of this year, the United States of America, the Union Republic, a Republican form of government, Article 4, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, we are a republic, not a democracy. We are a republic. Nonetheless, of this 248 years of this republic, two laws. Well, the first law that was written about us in the Constitution was something about us being 3/5 of a man. That had nothing to do with our genetic or our race. That had to do with voting. It was a clever move on the Northerners' part to keep the South from counting all their slaves, 100, 200, 500, 1,000 slaves, and he would count those, the Southern plantation owners would count those as votes for the presidency and so forth. And the Northerners, though they could not end slavery, they at least cut that short. The next time, and he also declared that import of slaves from Africa would be abolished in 1812, I think.
So they were trying to keep us from being able to vote.
Well,
One side was trying to keep us from being able to vote, and the other side was trying to make sure that the other side does not count
all the slaves and so forth who did not vote, but they counted them as votes. And so
they didn't even vote. Okay.
Yeah, folks, we have been at the center of the controversy of this country from the very beginning. You see, people talk about the Civil War. There's two Civil Wars. There's the Cold Civil War. There's the Hot Civil War. The Hot Civil War happened 1861 to 1865. The Cold Civil War began on July 2nd, July 4th, 1776. In fact, the Cold Civil War was so cold that it came to a stalemate over the issue of us. Thomas Jefferson and Adams and all those guys are saying, hey, look, man, if we're going to go after the king about slavery and us being tax slaves and all that, we have to also free the slaves that we have inherited from the British Empire. And so the Southern plantation owners, 47, I think it was, they were saying, oh, no, that's our livelihood. You can't take that from us. Anyway, the point is, they almost did not sign the Emancipation Proclamation.
Back up. We were their livelihood, their property.
Yeah, the custom. We were everything these folks in the South and the North, everything they owned was on our ancestors' backs. There was no America, folks, without our ancestors' backs. You know, George Washington and Benjamin, all them cats and all the rest of them out there, they couldn't have came up with these great philosophies if they were out in the field working the crops and the fields and themselves. So while we were out there doing the back-breaking work, they sitting on the porch smoking weed, drinking mint juleps, and philosophizing about freedom.
I knew it.
You know what I'm saying? They couldn't even got their philosophy without our ancestors' backs. They couldn't even come up with the philosophy about free America. How ironic.
Joel has a point. Joel, what were you saying?
No, I was just sort of joking. But, I mean, to go back to your issue of whether we're a democracy, I think we're one of the more democratic nations in the world from this standpoint. When the United States issued its independence declaration, it embarrassed the kings and dictators around the world because for the first time, people were actually saying that because you are a king or a dictator, you are not the government, that we are governed and our freedoms as humans is determined through God himself and not mortal men.
I agree with you about that. The idea that human beings, we the people, can participate in governing ourselves through a governmental structure, such as what they call the Republican form of government, Article 4, Section 4. The mistake that we made is we turned democracy into such a tool of abject mob freedom that we lose all control of society. And the Democrats wisely call themselves Democrats, got everybody thinking that if you vote for Democrat, you're voting for democracy. And I think at some point, either Mr. Trump or somebody in the Republican Party needs to define this and make it very clear that we are a constitutional free republic, and it's not a democracy. They keep blinding us with that democracy thing. So I don't use it, but if y'all want to continue to use it, y'all feel free, but understand and delineate between the difference of the two.
There is a difference between democracy, the term democracy, and the other term, which is
representative government.
Republic.
Republic.
The Republic.
Republics.
Republics are usually representative government.
Right.
Democracy is chaos.
Yeah.
Everybody determines what is, and the majority rules. That's not fair.
That's not working.
No.
Doesn't
So
work
you
at all.
have to have a way to protect the minority over the will of the majority.
But it's a superseding it now. You have the representative government and this other thing called democracy, which is, as you said,
I can't remember which leader said it. It might have been Churchill. That democracy is one of the worst form of government, but it's the only one we have.
so we got to live with it. So what happens to the representative governments? What
well,
happens to all these doggone stupid Congress people who keep electing?
right. Anything controlled by humans is flawed automatically. We're just trying to, what do they always say? In order to form a more perfect union. I don't think you ever reach that. You strive for it, but get as close as you can.
We're sorry about that, Ted. We get into this. Let's talk about it, and we do sometimes go ahead and have a
Digression.
discussion for clarification.
Digressive discussion, and that's fine. I'd like to come back at another time and discuss that very process of how this republic is actually supposed to work, and it begins with we the people, as Brother Joel said. We are ordered, charged to more perfect the union, establish justice, and ensure domestic tranquility. And I'd like to explore that in the future. But moving on, if you don't mind, with we were saying that we are patriotic to this country. And yet we get screwed over. But 161 years ago, the real beginning of our freedom started, which was when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st.
Real freedom.
That's when it began. That's when it didn't free all the slaves at the time. It only addressed the slaves, as Joel said last week, who had rebelled against the Union. And Lincoln gave them from September 22nd to January 1st. September 22nd, 1862 to January 1st, 1863, to come back in the Union and unite. Those who did not do that, then he said, I'm going to declare by law, y'all slaves are no longer slaves. They freed. When they get away from you, they're going to stay away from you. And so that was the beginning. And that changed the Civil War.
That must have been very confusing. And if I would probably not be a slave because no, that ain't gonna work with me.
Yeah, you said, like you say, I'd rather be dead and buried. I'd rather be dead and buried in my grave than live my life.
I'd rather. Oh yeah, you're right. It must have been awfully interesting. Hey, Joel.
Me?
Hey, you're free, man.
No, somebody hits me with a whip, I'm going to sit up there and say, maybe later.
What's your name? Gunther. What's your name? Gunther.
Call me what you want to call me, but if you're whipping me with that whip, whatever you say.
Whatever you say, oh,
Yeah, later tonight, I'll be sneaking off.
At nighttime, somebody ain't gonna be around.
I am not Kunta Kinte.
Hey, they said they.
No, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work with us today. We'd like to talk more about that too, because in Maryland, I just keep on mentioning it, and I have to keep on mentioning it because we have a Senate race here in Maryland between a black woman and a white man who is a former governor, and a black woman who is a current, what is she, a prosecutor, county committee woman, no, county exec.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's, both of them
Clash?
what?
Clash.
Yeah, they're clashing. And their commercial is now going to filter down to where we decide which one of them we want to send up to the hill. It's not going to be easy. We're going to be talking about Alsobrook and Hogan. Former Governor Hogan, if you got your people out there, we're going to be talking about you, so you might as well come on board and let's see what you got to say. Alsobrook, the sister that is running for around trying to get all black people to vote for you, you think you better come around and let's talk about it. Am I correct, sir?
That would be a good idea.
Let's get it on. Now, I don't think Ted would object to that either. Ted, would you object to us calling on these two people that want to be our senator to come and talk to us
They have a duty to do so. That is their duty to we the people. They cannot hide from us because we are their employers. If the employer calls you into the office to have to talk about something that you're doing out there or want to do in a corporation, you gotta come in and talk about it. It's not, well, I'm busy campaigning. No, campaign your ass right up here and you talk about it with us. So
You
yeah,
guys
sir.
got a big one going on in California with that. What's that guy's name? Adam Shit. Oh.
Excuse me, sir. It's Adam
My bad.
defecation. Adam
My bad, folks.
defecation. Watch
Children
your
are
language.
watching. I didn't. Daddy didn't. Papa didn't mean that.
You gotta-
Papa said I didn't mean that. I didn't. He couldn't say his name right. You know, it's
Hello.
something. You guys got a big election going on over there with Gavin
Newsom?
and versus
The
that
baseball
guy,
player.
the one I mentioned. Yeah.
The baseball
So you
player.
gotta. Hopefully, you don't send him back over to the Congress and let him go to the beach or something. That was a mess. And I think Maxine. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. You guys got Nancy Pelosi election going on there too.
I guess so.
Nancy
I'll be honest with
shit. I mean, full Pelosi. Yeah,
I didn't know she was still alive.
I didn't hear you. I didn't say it. Nancy Pelosi. Right? She's running for re-election over there.
Damn.
And boy, even that little short lady, Maxine Waters. Whoo, man, you're trying to send back to the hill some piranhas.
Yeah, put in a elderly
Put in-
elevator and ramp.
Oh, Ted, I'm just trying to break a little ice here. So who wants you to continue talking about
crushing it.
that
Crushing it.
1861, 1862? Black people, you're free, but
And
don't
so-
know where to go.
That's
I'm not free, I
exactly.
charge.
You're going to go outside.
I said I'm not free, I
You're
charge.
not- you're-
I'm just saying.
Come on in, my brother. Tell
So
us
the
some more
emancipation,
about
so
the
the
freedom of 1861.
63. That's what
63.
that when he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which I believe was ordained of God. When you do some backstory on this, Lincoln said the reason why I'm signing this document is because God told me to. I have a covenant with God that He would, if He give me a military victory, I will go ahead and sign the Emancipation Proclamation. And He did that. Now, what that became was the foundation of the 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and the 15th Amendment. Now, as you know, the 13th Amendment, folks, was designed to end slavery in America, except in prison. So behave yourself.
13th Amendment, folks. And
Yeah, 13th.
slavery.
Right, and slavery.
Whatever
in
that
America.
means, I think some of those slave owners didn't know what the heck that meant.
And they still don't know to this day what that means. Some of these corporate organizations and different folks out there, even bringing all these illegal aliens in here, that is slavery, folks. Anytime you get paid for labor under the wages that you are worthy, that is slavery. It may not be chattel slavery, but it is slavery. So they abolished that. And then the 14th Amendment, which we're going to come back to, what you see on my shoulder here, is
Yeah. On the other show.
there it is. There it
That's it.
is the centerpiece of what I call the triad amendments, the only set of amendments in the U.S. Constitution that speaks to a people. 13th, 14th, the 15th Amendment was the one whereby we were given power to participate in this Republican form of government through the power of the vote. But backtracking back to the 14th Amendment, that is the one that is the center leg of the three-legged stool of our triad amendments.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Ted. I just sometimes think that our audience needs a little bit more clarification. Can you give us a synopsis of what the 14th Amendment implies as far as slavery is concerned?
I think, yes, I can. Let me first of all read to you, folks, what the 14th Amendment actually says and what the Civil Rights Act of 1866 actually says. Now, the Civil Rights Act of 1866 here, this document in my right hand, this is the progenitor, the parent of the 14th Amendment, this document here in my left hand. So let me read to you this kinship. Section 1 of the 14th Amendment reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Now, this particular law, this statement, has been misconstrued by everybody but us, because this only speaks primarily to us first of all. What has happened is that the African American leaders, along with our failed federal government in this area, have opened up the borders, have allowed illegal foreigners to illegally cross or invade and occupy our country. And then individuals, they call that, by the way, Barack Obama said it, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, the Congressional Black Caucus said that the illegal immigration movement is the new civil rights movement. Okay, that's what they put in these people's head, because I've been out there dealing with them on the streets at the border about this, and that's what they quote back to me. And they use our skin color, by the way. The white man says to these guys, they say, look, man, you can't come to our country. It's illegal. Then why is it illegal? Because you're breaking the law, man. You're not come in here. And they say, well, you're racist. And the white man goes, what? Why am I racist? I'm just enforcing my law. He says, look at my skin color. You treat me the way you treat the blacks. Oh, the white man has to shut his mouth because he knows it's true. Okay, that's why they're getting over. But nonetheless, the point is, women come here from foreign countries, white, brown, black, red, yellow, doesn't matter who they are. They come from Africa. They come here pregnant, and that child is born within the borders of the United States. According to what they're telling us here, that child is now a U.S. citizen. Or if she comes here and gets pregnant and has a baby, that child is a citizen. This is what got Donald Trump in trouble.
Number one, the 14th Amendment is very questionable as to whether or not somebody can come over, have a baby, and immediately that baby is a citizen. Okay,
the court has pretty much said that it reads in immigrants there. This is a minority legal opinion you're talking about.
There are many people that totally feel that because
they want it that way.
Amending is too big a deal. It's going to take. It'll be 2 terms. I'd be in my 2nd term or my 8th year by the time, assuming everything went smoothly. Because to amend the Constitution
takes a long time.
I believe,
especially on a very divisive issue.
I believe you can win it legally. Okay, I believe you can win it legally. And in any event, the parents have to leave.
He said in the very beginning of his campaign, he said that the 14th Amendment belongs to black people only because they were the slaves of this country.
The United States has a troubled legacy when it comes to protecting the lives of Black Americans. In 1868, the 14th Amendment was added to the U.S. Constitution to uphold the rights of African Americans.
So now that's the 14th Amendment. We're going to get that straightened out. And also use the 14th Amendment, Section 3, to impeach the president.
Can we just marinate that first section of that amendment? What is it?
14th Amendment?
Yeah, the 14th Amendment. You're a woman from Mexico, as Bob said. You swim under, you crawl under, you beat up a couple of crocodiles, and you just come over the side and have an anchor baby. You anchor a baby in America, and then you tear up the cord and you go back where you're from. But the baby's a citizen, you're not.
Well, you have to remember the vast majority of Europeans at that time were 1st and 2nd generation at the most. Mm-hmm. You did not have the long lineage we now have of people saying, my family have been here several hundred years. So they were sensitive to saying anything that would make their parents and grandparents illegitimate. That's my theory. I'm not really in it.
Well, it certainly makes a good sense in terms of theoretically. It makes a good sense. It just but the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to them.
No, it makes me wonder about Native Americans because we were both getting kicked around. So, yes, you had slavery. They attempted to enslave the Native American who wouldn't have it.
The Native Americans didn't get their own amendments, so to speak. We got the 14th.
The Native Americans,
Well, we don't know what they got.
Well, they were just conquered. So they got what most people who lose a war get.
200 million of them.
And they got casinos.
They got their butt kicked.
Yeah. So realistically, we're kind of that such an unusual group. I don't think there's anyone in our situation in the world.
But Joel, he keeps bugging me, and I'm, Bob, Ted, I'm sure that, Bob knows exactly what I'm saying, because we talked about it, Ted, and I think you know too. It bugs me that even if the 14th Amendment sort of gives us this protection, Father, we are protected now by that 14th Amendment. Why are we still, the states in particular, why are they still having so many black people incarcerated?
Well, that's, I think, in many ways it's related, and there's also some other issues. There was one time a poster I saw years ago, and it had a picture of a lawyer and a black man on the other side of the desk, the client. And the lawyer says, "Well, young man, how much justice can you afford?" We understand through O.J. Simpson, who spent millions of dollars on his defense, and the reaction of white America versus black America. Black America was not necessarily celebrating O.J. Simpson. They were celebrating the fact that here was the first black man who used money
to get free,
to become free, something that white America has always done.
Understood. Hello, Ted. Are you still with us?
No, sir. I just left the room.
Oh, that's cool.
We were talking earlier about, the native people, the aboriginals, the indigenous people, and how, they got really, drummed over. In fact, they, along with us, we are not immigrants. Neither the native people nor us. And the indigenous people did not invite. They didn't come from somewhere else. They did not invite people to come here. They just invaded. The people from Europe just invaded their lands, and we did not ask to come here either. And these same people invaded the native people's lands are the ones who brought our ancestors here against our will. So we're not immigrants, and so we're together there. However, the native people, the Indian, as it says here in the Constitution, they are mentioned. They are mentioned twice. They are mentioned and saying that native Indians that are not taxed have no part of this, the freedom that's in here, and natives who are taxed are involved. But everything is based on the 14th Amendment. This is the granddaddy of all social movements in America. Now, let's talk about the mama of the 14th Amendment, okay? It is pretty much the same as the child in Section 1, but mama goes into a great more detail for you. Mama says this: "Be it enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, that all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians not taxed, are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States. And such citizens of every race and color, without regard to any previous condition of slavery or involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall have the same right in every state and territory in the United States to make and enforce contracts, to sue, to be parties, to give evidence, to inherit, purchase, lease, sell, hold, and convey real and personal property, and to full and equal benefit of all citizens and proceedings for the security of person and property as is enjoyed by white citizens, and shall be subject to like punishment as white citizens in pains and penalties, and to none other any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom to the contrary notwithstanding. So, mama brings out the details of what the child is squawking about. And see,
I was going to point out that we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of Native Americans being legally Americans.
How about that, huh?
You mean black people?
Well, Native Americans.
No, just the Native Americans.
Yeah, they became citizens in 1924.
Yep.
The people that own the territory became citizens
in 1924.
1924.
Yes.
What the hell was that before that?
I don't know.
They were different tribes. they were in their own tribes and nations and confederacies, and they were warring with one another over each other's property. They were doing the same thing Europeans did to Europeans, and what Asians did to Asians, and what Africans did to Africans. They ain't no different than anybody else. They were out there kicking each other's butt. If they had not been fighting with each other like that, the Europeans could never take it over. Same with Africa, same with India.
As much as I like Donald Trump and will be voting for him, don't care what nobody else should do, but I will. As much as that, when he talks about the South Americans are invading us, the United States of America, and based on what you just said, Joel implied that United Caucasians invaded this territory.
Yeah, exactly. The
term invasion seems to apply to both the Europeans and the South Americans.
Well, I've always heard the quote, if I'll say it right, the Native Americans and the people of Latino heritage, they always say that the borders crossed them. They didn't cross the border.
They didn't cross the border.
They have no room to talk. They're just as guilty as the European immigrants, the illegal immigrants. Because before the white man even showed up, which was the Spaniards, them Aztecs and everybody else down there was crossing one another's borders. That was their culture. That's the same with the Incas and the Mayans. It's all there. So they have no room to speak in a so-called self-righteous manner about the people of the United States built on the back of our people, about them saying, no, you don't cross our border. That's law. As Joel said, you lost the freaking war, baby. Okay? Yeah. So back up with all that kind of talk.
Under Biden, real wages for African-American workers are down 6%. That's the biggest decrease ever in a short period of time. You're down 6% since he took over. 100% of the net jobs created under Biden have gone to the illegals. Did you know that? 100% of the jobs created have gone to illegals. And then you're supposed to vote for this guy, and he doesn't know the difference. You're not talking about him. You're talking about people that control him. Fascists, communists, people that want to see our country destroyed.
Kamala Harris is bringing the Indians to invade America.
It's been going on from the beginning. It's been going on from the beginning of civilization. Look how ancient Israel invaded Palestine. Not Palestine, but the land of Canaan.
Everybody's invading everybody. France is invading Africa. Russia now is coming to say, I'm going to help you out. China is going over there and saying, here's some more money. It's an invasion time. So everybody. Now, where's black people again? Where we again, Joe?
McDonald's. I don't know.
We're McDonald's?
We don't even work there no more. He lost his job.
I tell you got a headache.
I'm just hungry.
Hey, Steve, he's just not getting over that cold, okay? So kind of cut him some slack. He's a little loose yet. Therapeutics are still working.
That's correct, sir. We want you all to understand that we are, yes, indeed, talking about many pertinent issues. And those issues, historically, are very pertinent to what is going on today. And you can say, thank you to my boy, to my brother, to my friend. Now he's become a real friend and a brother all the way from California. Am I correct about that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Ted Hayes is a brother and we want you to continue to listen to us. We want you to continue paying attention because Ted is telling it like it is.
Amen.
Did you know? On this day, June 13, 1865, President Andrew Johnson proclaimed the Reconstruction of the Confederate States, sparking one of the most contentious periods in American history. After the Civil War, Johnson offered amnesty and property restoration to most Confederates who pledged loyalty to the Union, but his lenient approach led to the rise of restrictions in the South. Johnson famously said, "I will protect and defend all loyal citizens in their rights of person and property." Johnson personally reviewed and granted thousands of individual pardons to former Confederates. Johnson's policies angered Northern Republicans like Thaddeus Stevens, who declared, "This is radically wrong." Congress fought back, passing the Civil Rights Act of 1866 and extending the Freedmen's Bureau, overriding Johnson's vetoes to protect the rights of freed slaves. Johnson's Reconstruction era was marked by conflict and change, shaping the future of America.
Let me share with you now a little bit more about what Mama says. Okay, now bear in mind.
Come on, Dan. Go ahead back to Mama.
Yeah, so bear in mind now. Mama, the 1866 Civil Rights Act, Congressional Act, that's what made us citizens. The folks realized, the Republicans, by the way, it wasn't Democrats, it was Republicans. Republicans realized, okay, we set these people free, we've abolished slavery, but who are they? How can they manage? We've got to do something. And there was two different fears they had, which I would not go into at this time. The point is, they said, well, let's make them citizens, and we're going to make them super citizens. They're going to be above the states, the counties, and the municipalities, because they're going to need this power in the future to rectify the up to now 48 years of damages that we have done to these people. So we're going to give them this power. Hopefully they'll wake up one day. Okay. So Mama says this as our citizens. She said, now, sentence one, you are a citizen, as is enjoyed by white citizens. They say there's no color in the Declaration of Independence. There it is. The Constitution identified white citizens who are basically immigrants. All right. And no matter what color you are, actually, if you came here willingly, you are a white citizen. You got that straight. Now, but look at what Mama says about anyone who violates our citizenship rights. She says this, and be enacted further that any person who under the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, such as anchor babyism, shall subject or cause to be subjected any inhabitant of any state or territory to the deprivation of any rights secured or protected by this act, or to different punishments, pains, penalties on account of such person having at any time been held in a condition of slavery or involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime wherein the party shall have been duly convicted, or by reason of his color or race than is prescribed for the benefit of white persons, shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and on conviction shall be punished by a fine not exceeding $1,000 or imprisonment not exceeding 1 year, or both, and discretion of the district and circuit courts. Folks,
Mama was right.
Mama's
bad.
Mama says she gonna get the strap out on anybody.
Didn't I tell you?
Mama gonna get the strap out. Where's my strap? Dad, go get my strap. I think all day looking for that strap.
Mama worried. She whooped that trap.
She whooped that. I say, Papa ain't no mess. Papa ain't no mess. Oh, Mama ain't no mess.
We are protected.
Anyway, I digress.
Our own race of people are completely protected and under the watchful eyes of only the president and the military. That's us.
That's us.
Black folks.
That's us. Only us.
You know, Every time I keep thinking about that, Joel, I just keep wondering. Despite the fact that Mama was there, what the hell happened? How come we're losing so much? How come our urban cities are so bad? What happened? Who did that to us? Who broke the law that protected us? That gave us our rights? Who did all that, Joel? I want just, you too, Ted. Who messed us up?
We did ourselves. From the standpoint, it's always been said, if you wish to be free, you have to fight for it. Freedom is not free. You have to continue to monitor and make sure that the rules and society continue to honor its bylaws, and they don't. They have
the legal stuff.
They have abandoned.
We did not make sure.
We have been abandoned, and
we abandoned ourselves.
Yeah, we let it happen.
We let people hurt us.
Our children are coming home uneducated and having all these issues, and we just let it happen as a community, not individually. There's wonderful families out there succeeding, but as a large population, we are undereducated, undermotivated, and everything else that has to do with becoming successful. We have to blame ourselves. We're not demanding, we're not participating in our evolution as successful people.
Ted, what do you respond to that?
Let me get in there for a minute on that. In modern day times, there's some truth to that, but there's a root to it as well. The root goes back 161 years ago. When Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation and Congress did the Triad Amendments, 99% of our ancestors were illiterate. They could not read. They went by what they thought they heard, saw, and felt. They couldn't help themselves. But when they did try to read, particularly in the South, when they set up schools and churches for schools, the Democratic parties, the Democratic parties, Ku Klux Klan, this military arm, the Ku Klux Klan, burned down our schools, attacked our people, killed our black teachers. In fact, you don't hear about this a lot, but hardly at all, when the young white Republican teachers would come down south to teach and educate us about so that we would learn these laws that were in our favor.
Tell Biden to just mind his business and stay in the basement somewhere. Stop calling you.
I'm gonna have him fired. Leave me alone. They were lynched. They lynched these white boys for coming down there trying to teach us. That's why they hate Donald Trump. That's why they're lynching Donald Trump in lawfare, because Donald Trump wants us to understand these laws. That's why he mentioned the 14th Amendment right off in his campaign in 2016. But moving forward, this went on for 161 years. I think I mentioned last week that only now we average from kindergarten to university, we average a 4th grade reading mentality. And people say that's horrible. I said, no, it's not horrible. It's wonderful, because there was a time we were not allowed to even read. So it's my job, Chief and Joel and Smoke, those of us with our lights on, to educate our people about this, so that they will want to read more and they will speak up. And it's not just that the white man has been so wrong on this, but if we don't know to say to somebody, get off my foot, they're gonna continue to stay on your foot. You see, you can't blame people for being stupid like that. We have to outsmart them.
The state of Oregon.
Oh, like, get off my neck.
Get off my back, get off my neck, get off my ass.
I believe it was the state of Oregon that just announced earlier this year that black students no longer have to read and do math at a proficient grade level, and they're just giving them attendance certificates instead of
that's all by design. All by design. All by design. So, brothers, now to move forward on this, when this law was placed on the president's desk, President Andrew Johnson, he came in after Abraham Lincoln, after Lincoln was taken out. President Johnson was a Democrat. Lincoln was trying to be a good guy. He was a Democrat. When this bill hit his desk as the 1866 Civil Rights Act to be turned into the 14th Amendment, the man vetoed it. The reason he vetoed it, and he's honest, you can look it up and you can read it, it's on my website, and I'm going to paraphrase. He basically said, I will veto it because it gives too much power to the black people, to the freed slaves over white citizens. He went on to say, furthermore, never in the history of this country or any country in history uses a federal power to central power to give a people like this power over their military. Oh, he told it, didn't he? This is what the Democrats have feared for 161 years, that we would wake up to our bequeathed federal power to order the president and the military as to what they can and cannot do as related to our national freedom. Brother, please.
To the African American, to the black people of this country,
U.S. citizens now. Delineate now. Delineate now. This is not just for black people. This is for the chattel slave descendants, the people who experienced chattel slavery, who are now federalized U.S. black citizens of a specialized super citizenship status. In other words, we have the power to shut down California concerning the border. We have the power to shut down the border. We have the power to tell the military, shut the border down regardless of what the president says and doesn't say. We have that power. They gave it to us. We've never used it.
Ted, you're correct.
Sorry, my apologies. I get all, man.
I understand exactly what he's saying.
My apologies.
But that will take some sort of a legislation to whomever is going to be president, hopefully not Kamala Harris, but I'm sorry, Emhoff.
Kamala Emhoff.
Kamala Emhoff. But
it's
to come back to what Ted was clarifying to us, before we can, don't we need to put some kind of a legislation on the table? And before we can now demand the full protection of our people from being abused from no matter where, whether it's from anywhere in the world.
Where's our leadership?
Hey, gentlemen,
if
gentlemen,
we don't have,
we got Ted. We got Ted.
Gentlemen,
we got one. We got Ted.
There you go, gentlemen. Listen to me. Listen to me. That legislation you're talking about, that's us. Now you go back to the Constitution. This man said, "We the people," in order to more perfect the union. It does not say the president. It does not say any elected official. It doesn't say any appointed official, because they are simply our employees and servants. It is the living people who makes the Constitution live. Same with these laws. Until we, the living...
Go ahead, Ted. I'm just hearing something different. When you say we
are the legislation.
Given the scenario of representative government, and we, the people, how do we, the people, you get where I'm going?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a darker position on this. When the Asians, you probably heard of the Opium Wars, where they went into China and literally turned half the country into drug addicts. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yes.
Then the Asian community rose up and drove out the Europeans and says, they killed anybody involved in the drug trade, and then they rehabilitated their people. I think we are still in that situation where they have drugged our people with welfare programs and dependencies on the government, and it has pacified any ability for us to drive a movement that would actually give us those rights. We're unable to demand it because we're afraid. If you have people thinking well, if you get rid of the Democrats or you bring in the Republicans, you will not eat. It's a drug. At that point, you are dependent not on your desire for freedom, but on the grace of the political system.
And whoever is in power.
Right. It is the modern version of the opium wars.
So, in other words, black folks, please understand, we may be complicating things for you to, put it all on in the head, because sometimes when Joel talks, he's a teacher, and my brother Ted, he's obviously a very strong teacher, and even I'm a little teacher, but I'm a little one. These guys are the big dogs. Woof, woof, woof. I'm talking about. How much your bar? Huh?
I got me a dog one. I got a big one.
So at some point,
stay on the porch.
Stay on the porch. Some point we have to bark. Now,
yes, sir.
Bark strongly.
Yes, sir.
And we're doing it now.
Yes, sir.
Bark. Now, the thing that keeps coming to my mind, and I would like to let you know, Ted, that we have perhaps about 15 minutes left for this broadcast. Something that happened yesterday that has been bothering me. Now, we have all these school shootings going on. From the information that we have, there have been about, in 2024, 23 school shootings. And for the United States, 23. Again, school shooting. And the number of deaths due to school shooting is 49. These data we got from the Education Week. I'd like to ask Joel, is the woke indoctrinating our school children?
When COVID first hit, I started hearing quotes from many people. If you want to take advantage of a crisis, invent a crisis, and then, change the law to your advantage. They've been trying to find excuses and reasons for getting rid of people's liberty. I mean, the Second Amendment was literally designed to keep the government from becoming tyrannical. So now all of a sudden, we have 49, 50 people, tragically, who lost their lives. But they're not blaming the people. All of a sudden, it's the weapons. And they're coming up with all these small laws that are going to mutate into a position where the Second Amendment is going to become irrelevant, which is unconstitutional.
Exactly.
I'm a gun owner, and technically, the federal government guarantees me the right to be that. Yet, if I walk outside my house with a gun, I will be arrested.
I'm going to try to move this a little faster, Ted. So, the opium analogy, the school shooting analogy, and the talk that we have had about the 14th Amendment and the protection of black people, they're all intertwined somehow, that if we do not come up with a major position such as the one that you are seeking to be the ambassador of homelessness, again, another major crisis. And of course, the two political parties, there's only one political party that created it, and one political party that is trying to resolve it, and one political party that ain't doing nothing but just yakety yak, yakety yak. We really have come close. And if you would, Ted, my brother, we haven't finished the civil rights of 1866. We haven't finished talking about it. And we continue to, I think we would like to ask you to please come back next week. I keep telling you, tell Biden to stay in the basement and mind his damn business. Stop calling you so much.
He's not awake.
Oh, he's not awake?
No.
Oh, he's asleep. Then you better tell Kamala Harris there to mind her business. Stop lying so much.
I'll try.
Do we still have a president?
Huh?
Do we still have a president?
We have a president?
I don't-
No, we ain't got no president.
Oh,
We
Barack
don't know who's
Obama.
running.
It's called
Ted,
Barack Obama.
can I please ask a beg of you if you can come back next Sunday and let us do a third segment?
I would be delighted.
We hope that people listen this time. We're going to try to end this right now because we have pretty much went over our hours, and we're hoping that my brother Joel, would you come back, Ted?
Yes, sir. I'll be delighted.
Wonderful.
Let me
You're
give you a
brilliant,
fist bump here.
you're an intelligent, you're
There.
a very good man. Here's my power to you and to Joel. You know, we hope that he gets better by next weekend.
Oh,
My brother
stop all them crazy
got
jokes.
headache and dizziness. I don't know what's going on with him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chief OBDK, and this is Joel and Ted Hayes in California. And we are talking to you as we should be talking on New Harbor Studio. Until the next time, God bless you. Good night. Arrivederci.
Ouch.